Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Tommy, and today I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Angel.
Hello.
We are back for our long stretch of Guiding Light weekend episodes we'll be covering. Today we are covering March 1st to the 3rd. We're finishing out a week. So I'll roll the credits and we'll get right into it. So I guess we should talk about Grease first.
Yeah. Oh, Grease. I'll explain my reaction in one moment.
So we pick up with Frank basically holding off Christos.
Christos, yeah.
And basically threatening him, like, you're gonna let us leave the island, and there's a scuffle, and Christos pulls a gun on them. And it looks like he shoots it, but it ends up not being him that shoots the gun. It's his sister, and she shot him.
The way I thought that he shot Eleni, and that's how.
Me too.
Well, I'm just gonna say it. This episode, March 1st, is Melina Kanakridis' last episode. Yes. So the way I thought that this is how we get the recast in.
Mm-hmm. She wakes up as a recast.
Wakes up as a new actress.
Yeah, I thought so too. I was like, oh, damn, here we go. Because I remember you told me she leaves in the next episode. So I thought he was dead. And I was like, that's why we can't find anything out about this actor, because he was in like less than 10 episodes.
No, we know who the actor is.
We do?
Oh my gosh, you didn't see. So the March 2nd episode has the credit, or the March 2nd episode has the credits in it.
Oh, I did notice that, but I didn't watch them. I didn't even think to like look for his name, honestly.
Yeah, because like normally, I think maybe in the Paul Rauch era, they don't have the like the guest players after, well, it became Zimmer at this point. So but they had a long list of characters, and the actor who plays Christos is David Lee Russick.
Okay.
So we have to look him up, see who he is, because I forgot to do that on my end.
Yes, because he looks very familiar. He has that soap opera look, so he must be another soap. Yeah, so, but he's not dead. I thought he was shot dead.
Me too.
And I was like, damn, she killed her brother. But I think I said this in the last podcast. I just feel like she doesn't like Eleni, so she's like, just get out of here. I don't even want to deal with you.
Go.
And like, what about the feud? And she's like, you have my word. She's like, I'll end the feud. Just get out of here before he comes to. And I changed my mind. She says, take the helicopter. I'm like, okay, because everybody just knows how to like fly a helicopter. Like, all right, yeah, you have the keys. I'll go fly it.
Oh, I just assumed there was a pilot already sitting there, and they're like, come on.
Oh, yeah, that probably would be the case. Especially if they're wealthy. They definitely have servants. So here I am thinking he's dead and that we're never going to see this guy again. We're back at the tavern and everybody's celebrating. Her Yaya, which is her grandmother, is very
who's named Marina.
Oh, her name's Marina.
Yaya is named Marina, so she's named. So Marina, the Marina baby, is named after
her. Oh, nice. That's cute. And they're having a celebration. These two men pick her up. They kiss her on the cheek, and I'm just like, oh. I was like, I guess that's a nice ending. If that was going to be your last day of work.
It's a party.
I miss her already, and I only knew her for 2 months.
Oh, don't worry. I'm sure she's doing NYPD Blue at this point, at this time.
Right. So I felt like this was wrapped up really quick. And again, I don't know if there was a writer change or if it's just because it was the end of February sweeps, but I just felt like it was like, and it was done.
I wonder if it's because of Melina's exit they had to wrap it up so quickly.
Maybe. What else?
And are they going to do anything with the next actress? We'll find out.
So I think maybe because Christos is not dead. We saw him one more time. And he demands his sister tell her what he promised. And she's like, it's no matter. He literally said, I'm not done with her. Or things are not done between us. So to be continued on that, I guess in 6 days. I think you said 6 days later, the new
So
one.
yeah, so it'll be the Monday episode she premieres. So we're gonna go right into that when we do our Monday, when we do our, I guess it'll be a week we do next week. So
Okay. So that was pretty much it. Greece was kind of tied up in a bow. Um,
we one hanging thread.
yeah, with one little hanging thread. Um, so I guess the other little thing that was kind of funny, well, it wasn't funny because it was kind of counteracted on a more serious scene. So we have Jilly and
Mm-hmm.
Sid and I guess her boss
Mm-hmm.
actually formally offered her that California job. So they're at the
Mm-hmm.
diner. He offers her this. She's really excited. She talks about like what this could lead to, like international stuff, and she's really excited. And then Sid opens up a ring box and
Mm-hmm.
proposes to her. Now, I kind of saw this like at first as okay, we'll get married and we'll experience this together as a couple.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of did it as a way to ground her, like to keep her in Springfield, I felt like.
Yeah.
Because he's not happy that she wants to accept this job.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not happy that he's not happy. So she doesn't really accept the proposal. Wait, does she?
She doesn't. I mean, it's not really clear, but I think she doesn't
Yeah.
immediately. I don't know.
And she storms out of the diner. Um, the more lighthearted part of this is Nadine and Buzz, they have a proposal of divorce.
So like right Sid was like, "Will you marry me?" And then right after that, Nadine was like, "Will you divorce me?"
Yes, that was funny. And I guess Buzz says yes. But I guess he's having issues with the telephone since the fire, or he said whenever it rains or there's bad weather, like there's like static for like 3 days. So he's on the phone trying to get help. And it's a woman working customer service, I guess. And he finds out she's local and that she was kind of affected by the fire, and they start talking. And I thought this was gonna lead somewhere, like he was gonna have like a romance with the secret person on the phone. And then he finds out she's like her great grandmother, and he's like, oh, never mind.
It's like she's a great grandmom.
And I guess this makes Buzz realize that he still kind of has feelings for Nadine, even though he's divorcing her.
Mm-hmm.
Because he realizes the reason why he was so comfortable talking to this woman is because she reminded him of Nadine.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the end of that. That was a cute little segment.
Yeah, it was. I like kind of a mini spoiler. A character that comes back, he winds up marrying.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
Character that comes back later this year, he winds up marrying. So
Interesting. I guess we can get into the Roger and Holly stuff because that kind of branches off into other things. We saw Josh and Annie for like a minute. He came to visit her at the hospital dressed up like in his like construction, what he used to wear, like his more casual clothes, and he had like an arrow in his head.
Yes. I like that they're like developing from like, I keep saying this about Josh. I apologize to the Josh fans, but I do love me some Josh. They evolved it from like the sad sack to like this fun character that I know and love. So
he asks Annie like what she thinks about his look, and she has to go back to work, and she just says that he looks sexy, and this kind of like smile on his face. And I was like, talk about a slow build.
I know, right?
So I guess they're on good terms. They're not fighting at the moment.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
So that was it for them. We didn't see Vanessa in these episodes.
No, we didn't. What about like Lucy, Alan Michael? Does that kind of fall into the?
Yeah, we could talk about that. That's
Roger.
A little bit more separate. So Tangi wrote an article about Alan Michael that was less than favorable. And I can't get like a read on his father because he seems happy about it. See, he says that it'll make him tougher to read things like this about himself in business. It'll make him tougher. But I don't know, like I feel like it was more to it because he was actually like proud of Tangy and he sends her like 3 dozen roses, long stem roses.
Well, remember, there's like sort of a kind of a triangle, which I'm not feeling this triangle between Alan Michael, Tangi, and Alan.
But like Alan Michael seems to be done with Tangy, and Tangy seems to
Hmm.
want nothing to do with Alan Senior. So
Hmm.
it's like this isn't even a viable triangle.
No, it isn't. I'm not. That's why I'm not feeling it. It's not a viable
Yeah,
triangle. It's like,
yeah,
yeah, and I'm not really feeling the character of Tangi either. So
yeah. I'm kind of over it. She's
yeah.
shown very sparingly, and I'm just like, I know you're leaving, so I'm not invested at all. So I'm just like,
Hmm.
go back to all my children.
Where she is fire on All My Children. I
Yeah.
love her character on All My Children.
Um, Alan Michael also knows that Lucy has a date with Brett that night, and he's like, I need you to stay late tonight. And she's like, well, how late? She's like, I have a date. And he's just like, oh, right. But then he like doesn't answer her.
Every
And he's
time
a
I
man.
hear every time we mention Brett, we should play like the neighing of the horses and like that sort of thing from Young Frankenstein. Because it's going to go bad. I know it.
Is it?
Yes. The way that I the way that I just know the storylines is gonna go bad. I'm like, Lucy, no.
It's probably gonna go bad really fast, honestly, because
Hmm.
I couldn't help myself. You know how when you start reading something, you can't look away, and you're just like,
Yes.
I can't, I gotta, yeah. So I kind of was spoiled on some things about this. I don't know like every detail, but because I was semi spoiled, I just wanted to see how long he was on the canvas. He came on in February and he's gone in May or June. Like he's like gone pretty quickly. And then he comes back later in the year for like 3 or 4 months. So I'm like, all right, so something's about to happen pretty soon.
Yeah, and then like he gets recast
Oh, really?
with another actor, and then I think he comes back. I forgot. Because we were talking about because like basically the mini spoiler is that whatever happens has to do with practical makeup effects. So I'm in the Norman uh Byrne or Bryn. I don't know. I keep forgetting to pronounce this. Sorry, Norman. And they mentioned like they have some practical or makeup effects with this character.
Okay.
So everybody out there knows what I'm talking about when I say practical or makeup effects, and they're getting creeped out. So when that happens, it's the recast with the practical and makeup effects with the character.
Do you think the first actor didn't want to do it and that's why he left?
So I know the reason. I didn't really want to say it, but like unfortunately, he has a psychological breakdown
Uh-huh.
and they had to do an emergency recast. So the recast was basically necessary to, um, you know, while he was away getting help.
Ah, okay.
So
All right. Um, so that's pretty much Alan Michael demands Tangy comes in because he wants to like confront her about this article. um and that was pretty much it for them. She does go. I'm trying to think if Tangy was like in any other scenes. She was, but we could talk about that when we get to that.
yeah, I think that's more with Roger and Holly.
Yeah. So Roger and Holly. We picked up, it's still the night of the awards ceremony, and Fletcher like dragged Roger outside, and he's like, it's me, I'm the guy that slept with her. Now, he gave a lot away because he was under the impression that Holly was faithful because she said she was faithful,
Hmm.
which I had issue with because I'm like, you're saying you're faithful, but you weren't.
You weren't.
Like, you're saying there was another man, but you were faithful. Like I
Mm.
don't know where to land on this with you. um, and Holly listening. And Roger laughs in his face because he doesn't
Yeah,
even like.
I knew that was going to happen. Like that is just such a classic Roger move that he's told basically the truth, and then he laughs in people's faces for telling the truth because he doesn't believe it's his truth. So
He just doesn't think that it's an option. He's like, you? Like, really? You? He's like, yeah, it's me. And he's like, I don't think so.
yeah, no.
And then Fletcher's just so frustrated that he doesn't believe him. But then Holly confronts Roger with the note, knowing that he's the one that wrote it. And she's like, another one of your games. And she like throws the letter at him. And she basically ends things with him again.
Again.
I'm done for real this time.
What's that, like the 5th time?
But knowing what I know about like the actor and everything, I'm like, maybe this is the real last time that it's over. Unless they get back together at some point before he leaves. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. So Roger goes to see Alexandra and tell her what happened. And I did not know that Alexandra had a thing for Fletcher.
Yeah, so I literally remembered that from because well, spoiler alert, but this is like what 10, 11, 15 years down the line. Alexandra at the very end ends up with Fletcher.
Oh, okay.
At the end of the show, so she winds up like Jay Hammer comes back. Marge Dusay is of course still playing her, and they get together. That's Alexandra's happy ending. So
yeah. I have no interest in watching the P-Pack years, so that you can spoil
me
those years as well. Yeah, apparently they had a thing. He lived with her.
Mm-hmm.
Were they actually a couple? Because it also made it sound like she kept him there against his will.
They were, as soap opera Central calls it, lovers. So.
Oh, okay. Wow. Fletcher doesn't look like the guy that gets around, but he gets around, huh?
I'm trying to think of who he was all with, though, but I don't really see. Fletcher is the type of character that I know he's there, but then I forget that he's there. Mm-hmm. In the grand scheme of the history of the show, like it's like, oh, Fletcher, I forgot about him. Oh yeah, Ben's daddy. There we go.
That's how I feel about Max Brady on these. So Holly goes to Blake and Ross's house, and she's like, "It's over with you and your father." She's like, and Ross is kind of like hunched in the chair, like eavesdropping.
He's like this.
And they discuss everything that happened. Roger ends up coming to the house, and Dinah comes home. I don't know. I guess she was just like gallivanting, spending money.
Spending money.
Yeah. And she like listens to the whole thing, and she kind of taunts Holly because she's like, I had dinner or breakfast or whatever with Roger, and he went on and on about his shrew of a wife or whatever. And she's like, he knew that she's like, I'd actually get to meet her. And I'm just like, ooh, are these
She's starting shit.
Yeah.
I love it.
She's like, he has such an amazing mind. And I'm like, is there going to be a romance between Roger and Dinah? Don't spoil it. Oh, I'm having a memory from last week. I feel like you were like, her future husband's in the room. It was at the party, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. We'll touch more on Dinah in a little bit. So Roger goes to visit Bridget because he wants to see Peter. He says he needs his fix. And I'm like, another person? I was like, why is this child connected? Who is Roger to him?
Here we go. I was reminded, I forgot all about this one character who's coming a little later this year called Hart Jessup.
Oh, I heard Hart. I heard the name
Hart Jessup is the father of Peter. So biologically, Peter and Bridget are this kid's parents. So Roger is Hart's father.
Oh,
so he's his grandfather.
I did hear her or him refer to him as Pop Pop.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, that sounds like a grandfather. I'm like, but how?
Yeah, so yeah, I forgot all about, like, I was like, wait a minute, Peanut. Wait, Peanut is which is that's what Bridget calls Peter, Peanut. Right. So I'm like, wait, Peanut is Roger's grandson. So
that was a cute scene. I like seeing Roger with his walls down and just being like normal.
Oh, he has a huge soft spot for children.
Okay.
He has a huge soft spot for children. I think he just loves being a grandfather.
Okay. How is his relation? Well, I guess I'll find that out. But does he have a good relationship with Hart?
We'll find out.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll find out.
That sounds like
It's
a
coming.
no.
We'll find out. Yeah, because it ties into a lot of like the stuff that happens later this year. So
Okay. So Hart and Blake are half siblings. They have
half
different
siblings.
mothers.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Hart is not Holly's son.
No.
Who's his mother?
This is just up. I don't know. Never meet the mom. I don't think we ever meet the mom.
Oh, okay.
If we do,
That seems like a missed opportunity.
Yeah, if that happened, just comment below. We'll read. We read our comments.
So another quick, just random insert. Bridget's like polishing the silver on the floor. Sid comes home. He's like all like juiced up because his sister won that award. That's it.
Not Sid. It's
David.
David.
And he's just like so proud of Jilly. Matt's there, so we saw Matt, but we didn't see him with Vanessa, which is good. It's nice to have not be so like
because it's nice to have like the Reardons, interacting. So there used to be more of them. I don't know what happened to all of them.
Yeah, I actually had the thought. I'm like, where are the Bowers? Because I started thinking about like I always heard about like the Bauer family picnic, and I'm like,
right.
I haven't seen one Bauer except for Ed, and we saw Michelle in one scene.
Yeah, this is like when a lot of people from the past started really not liking the show because they didn't feature the Bowers a lot. Basically, once they killed off Maureen, they basically showed them less and less. They kind of rebuilt them. Rick comes in a little later this year. I have a feeling that Michael O'Leary, who plays Rick, didn't really like Jill Farron Phelps, and as soon as she left, he was like, "I'm back." So, and this is just based on like I have interacted with him briefly on Facebook. So,
and then Rebecca
allegedly, we'll put the allegedly there, yeah.
And then Rebecca Budig is coming soon, right?
As Michelle. She takes over for Rachel Miner.
So she'll actually have a storyline.
Yeah, she'll be a full-fledged teenager.
Yeah. Yeah, that was just a random thought I had. I was like, wow. I was like, I've always heard about the Bowers. I was like, I've only seen one Bauer, and he's just like a talk to.
I think they also recast Ed with a prior Ed. I think because I don't know how much longer, because like Peter Simon, who plays Ed currently, I know he's in 95, but I know he leaves, and then when he comes back, it's Robert Gentry, but I don't know when Robert Gentry comes on, who used to play Ed back in the day, and then when Robert Gentry leaves, it's Peter Simon again. So
okay. That happens. Lisa Rinna did it. She played Billy, and then there was two more Billys, and then Lisa Rinna came back as Billy. So where am I? Oh, so now Holly is looking for Fletcher. I guess to tell him that it's over between her and Roger, and I don't know if she wants it to tell him that they could be together. I'm not really sure like what the goal is.
Yeah, I don't know the goal either.
Because when he was fighting with Roger and telling him everything, he said that he was in love with her. He's like, I can't speak for Holly, but I'm in love with her. And Roger laughed in his face. But I did get a nice chuckle when Alexandra went over to see Holly and confront her about it, because it was just very comical, and like it just reminded me of the fight she had on the plane with Alan. Like she's just being very over the top and like dramatic. And this is when I found out that she may have held him against his will at her house, because Holly was like, "You and Roger have the twisted reality in your heads where you really try to mold things to fit how you want them to be. I don't know. I just feel like Alexandra. Like I feel like there's like in this era of soaps we can tell the different classes, and I
Mm-hmm.
just feel like she's upper class,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Fletcher appears very middle class, and I find
Mm-hmm.
it interesting that she's obsessed with him and is okay with it. But people are looking down on Vanessa for dating Matt, probably because he's younger. But I
Yeah,
don't know.
but then remember, the Spaldings in some capacity own the newspaper, which I forgot I forgot the name of the newspaper. Um,
Mm,
so there is that connection that like, oh, they own the paper, so they know the people who work there. Sometimes a little too well. So
yeah. Oh, I did hear Buzz refer to the diner as like the Meals on Wheels thing that you were talking
we're calling
about.
the 5th Street Diner.
Yeah, I was like, I don't like that. I was like, I'm just gonna continue to call it the 5th Street Diner. Sounds better. Rolls off the
It's
tongue
called
better.
yeah, it's Wheels on Meals, but we're just gonna call it 5th Street Diner.
Yeah, because I think Meals on Wheels is an actual organization in real life.
Yeah.
So no copyright infringement.
Well, no, it's the opposite. It's Wheels on Meals, which
Yes.
sounds worse.
Right.
Doesn't roll off the tongue really well.
Yeah. Um. What else is there? Any other like peripheral stories that we missed? Oh, so
Go
Dinah.
yeah. No, I was gonna go back to because we kind of the what David, Bridget, Matt, and
Oh, right. We didn't finish that.
yeah, Lucy were doing. Yeah.
So yeah. So then Lucy shows up, and they're all having like a nice scene. And they basically implied that Bridget needs to have sex. They said, "We know what you need," and she's just like, "What?" And Lucy's like, "Even I know what you need because we know that Lucy's a virgin." So that was funny. Matt like pokes fun. He says she like alphabetized the seasoning. The
Yeah.
she's like, "What?" She's like, "It's now I can know where things are when I need them." She's basically just trying to, I guess, keep herself busy so she doesn't have to think about Dylan. Um, that was pretty much it for them, right?
Well, there was also Matt was teaching Bridget how to defend herself if
Oh,
like
right.
something, yeah, so, which that's really good. That's really how you defend yourself if you get like this or like that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
David also said he's going to take Bridget to see Dylan.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I wonder if that'll happen in the next week or
Yeah, for is that going to happen on screen? Are we going to see it?
yeah.
Is Morgan Eglin coming back?
Right.
Is that why he's still in the opening credits?
Oh, maybe. I always know it when the CBS like symbol comes up that it's the short credits. I'm just like, oh. But the last one I noticed it did the in stereo, and I was like, oh, we're getting the full credit.
Yay! It's in stereo. That means we get the full credits.
Oh, so Dinah.
Yes, Dinah.
Dinah goes to visit Ross at his office, and she's like, oh, it's cozy. She's like, I pictured like this whole high rise. She's like, I get it. You don't want people to know how successful you are. And she complains about how expensive Paris is, and she's like, the meals are just crazy, and like the money, the foreign exchange, and she's like, I haven't even shopped, and she's like, that's impossible to do in Paris.
She said I could have gotten a job, but I'm in school. I
Right?
mean,
She's like, I want my
have work.
grades to suffer because I have to work.
No, my grades suffer because I have to work. Well, I wonder if work study is a thing in Paris. That's the first thing that came up. I was like, I definitely was working while I was doing school. It's possible.
So Ross like is like, oh, I'll help you. Like, I'll take out your I'll give you some money. And I'm thinking he's gonna give her like a few thousand. Nothing crazy. I wasn't thinking like 10,000. I was thinking maybe like 2,000, 3
2000,
tops.
yeah.
He's like, how's 250? I'm like, $250. I'm like, I mean, granted, 1995.
I'm thinking Yeah, I'm thinking like the exchange rate in between 1995 and now is like different. Like,
No, I'm like, even if that lasted a month, like $250.
and he's like, no, 500.
500. And even that, I
And
was
then
like,
that's what
that's
Blake.
better, but like
It's better, but Dinah should have like coaxed him a little bit more. Maybe give her like $900,000 maybe.
well, he does make it known that she has a trust fund, and she's like, I have a trust fund.
Yeah,
How
that's
much?
right.
When do I get it? And he's like, I don't remember the details. He's like, there's stipulations. So I'm sure she has to be a certain age, maybe married,
Or something. Yeah, I
in a
was gonna say, or
school.
something, or a life event happens.
Right. Oh, you just clicked something in my head. A life event.
Yeah, of going all like, you know, HR and everything with that. You have a life event. Congratulations, you just adopted somebody.
So Blake walks in just as he announces how much the check is to her. And she's like, okay. She's like, gotta go. Bye. Oh, and then she sees the newspaper in Blake's hand, and she
Mhm.
sees the article that Tangi wrote, and she's like, is this my Alan Michael?
My Alan Michael.
So I found out through the scene that she dated him in high school and that Blake was
Mhm.
married to him. I'm like, oh, okay. Does that mean that Blake and Dinah are the same age?
I'm
Or
trying.
supposed to
No,
be?
no, 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 no. Blake must be a little older than Dinah.
Okay.
Slightly older. Like maybe like if Dinah was in her teens in the 80s, she was in her 20s in the 80s. Blake was in her 20s in the 80s, so.
So to put a pin on the scene just for a second, there's a scene where Blake goes to visit Roger and he's chopping wood, probably envisioning Fletcher's neck. Although we didn't see that, but
Which is the third time that Roger has gone off somewhere to think, and it's
right.
weird. But hey, Michael Zasso can do the blue jeans correctly.
He can. I had a thought just from their conversation. So Roger was presumed dead through most of the 80s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he wasn't really in Blake's life as she was growing up because she was a teenager, right, in the
Nope.
80s. So taking that and then going back to Ross and Blake, I was thinking about Dinah and how he didn't know that he was her father. Ross was her
Mm-hmm.
father. So he wasn't really there as she was growing up. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
that's actually something that Blake and her could bond over because they had similar
Yeah.
experiences with not having their fathers in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if that's something that they'll touch on at some point and bond over, or if they'll just constantly be rivals for Ross's affection. um, so yeah, so Blake is not happy that he gave her a check for $500. She's like, here I am trying to be frugal. I could have got roses, but I saved the $50 and I got these daisies.
And then she was like, "Look at this," and it was like obviously it's a bracelet. I'm not wearing a bracelet right now, but like she said,
Uh-huh.
it's just like I couldn't afford this.
And she it was a cute comical moment because as she's yelling at him, she's like, I came to apologize, and she like starts to hand him the flowers, and she was like, wait, no. She's like, I'm gonna return these because we can't afford them. And he like follows as she like rushes out, and his secretary, he's like, don't roll your eyes at me.
Yeah, because like the secretary, they were talking beforehand. I think it was kind of cut off from the beginning of the episode, and then she's like, "Don't," and then he's like, "Don't roll your eyes at me," about like a certain client that he had.
Oh yeah, because they were talking early in the episode. He was getting clients from his commercials,
Mm-hmm.
but they were all pretty much he doesn't get paid until he wins the case, pretty much.
Yeah, pro bono.
Yeah. Um, one of the somebody, because you only heard his side of the conversation, they must have said he had nice teeth on the commercial because he was like, oh, I thank you.
Thank you.
um yeah, so I think that was it for Dinah. We didn't go see her meet up with Alan Michael yet, so that'll probably be the
Nope.
next episode.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was it. Did I
Yeah, that
forget
was
anything?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was 3 episodes, so it's not like there
Yeah.
was a lot in there, yeah.
I mean, we
So
ended with the confrontation between, um, Holly and Alexandra,
mhm.
and she's like, "I'm gonna go find Fletcher," and that's kinda how it ended. She, like, stormed out of her own house and left her in there. I'm like, "Bitch, get out of my house. I gotta go find Fletcher."
Right.
Wouldn't leave, like, somebody I hate in my house. Like, lock the door before you leave.
Uh-huh.
I did have a quick laugh when she got home and she, like, there was a picture of, Roger on the mantle and she, like, flipped it down.
It looked like the picture from, oh my gosh, what is that video cassette that he was in? Roger Thor, the something years. What? No, Reva's the Scarlet years, and Roger's the I forgot who the other one is.
There was VHSs. They released episodes.
Yeah, there were. Yeah, there were. Well, it wasn't episodes. It was like a compilation, and
Oh, okay.
which had clips in it, and it
Oh,
tells
okay.
the story of Roger. And then there was one with Reva that tells a story about Reva. Those might be next year. If I
Oh,
could find them, hopefully we'll watch. I want to see if we can watch them.
did it play as an episode? Like
I don't think it did.
like
I don't think it did on CBS. I think it was just on the. I think it was just on VHS.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
Huh.
but if it did, comment below because I've only heard of. Oh my gosh, what I'm trying to think of what Rogers is called. Hold on, let me look it up.
'Cause I was thinking, like, how sitcoms sometimes they would have, like, a clip show where they'd just be
Hmm.
talking about stuff and it'd be, like, stuff that happened throughout seasons. I wondered if maybe they aired it on CBS.
Let me see what we got here. The Scandal Years. That's what it's called.
The Scandal years.
The Scandal Years. Yep.
So is it, like,
Yep.
the
It's
'70s or the '80s or early '80s? Because he wasn't on?
so hold on. Oh, it has so it has like yeah, so it has so he played Roger from 1971 to 1980. So about
71?
71. Yep.
Whoa.
Yep. And then again from 89 to 97.
He doesn't even look that old to have been on since '71.
Well, he
I
was
mean, he's
remember Michael Zaslow was on Star Trek, like the original Star Trek.
alright. Oh, wow.
So he was really young on there.
Okay, that makes sense. Wow, that's crazy. I guess that's like, Susan Seaforth Hayes being on since I think
Hmm.
'66 or '67 she came on.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Alright, well, do you have anything else to add before I wrap this up?
No.
Alright, well, thank you for joining us for another edition of Guiding Light. As always, you can find us on all the socials at Queers and Soaps, and until next week, have a great day, week. Happy
Bye.
Easter.
Happy Easter. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.